Hey everyone. I just wanted to jump on and just talk a little bit about how I came to start working with struggling readers and with dyslexic kids and ultimately starting Literacy Tree. So I believe that we wind up in a place in life where we're supposed to be sooner or later, whether you take a journey to get there or it happens immediately. For me, it's been a bit of a journey and I've enjoyed all of it. But I am glad that I am here now. I definitely believe that Literacy Tree came from a part of me that has always been there. I say this because I recall a conversation that I had as a teenager even, where we were talking about a bucket list item. Probably my number one was to teach somebody how to read. And that was super random because I wasn't planning on being a teacher at the time. I wasn't looking to learn how to teach people how to read, but I knew that I wanted to give that gift to somebody because I know how important it is. And I knew at the time how important it was and how for someone to be able to communicate and to be able to read and to write in order to be successful in life, and also to just, enjoy being able to read. I wound up going to college, graduating, and with a degree in literature, but still just going and, following the rest of the crowd, I guess, and finding a corporate job in the big city, and, learning a lot along the way, but never really finding it super rewarding. And I remember a very sort of pivotal conversation that I had with a friend that probably changed the course of my life. This was a friend who went into teaching, and we met up for dinner after a long day of work, and she was telling me about her day. And I just remember listening to her and saying, that sounds so much better and more rewarding than what I'm doing. At the time, I was about to change careers too. I had just gotten into law school, actually, and I was planning on moving forward and possibly becoming a lawyer. And I remember going home to my boyfriend at the time, who is now my husband, and telling him all about it. My friend was talking about her teaching job, and gosh, I really wish that I could do this. And he said, well, you're like 23 years old and you can do whatever you want. You don't need to go to law school. You can do whatever you want. And he kind of gave me that push to be able to change the course of my life. Sometimes you just need somebody to do that. So I decided not to go to law school, and instead I applied to a master's program in education, and I wound up getting my master's in education. I loved it. I remember being in that program and realizing, okay, this is all basically what I should have been doing all along. I got my first job as a middle school English teacher. And I did that for quite a while and loved being in the classroom. I really grew as a person and as an educator, being able to connect with my students every day, introducing them to literature, helping them as people, not just as students, but just as people navigating their sort of preteen life. And I just really enjoyed that part. I had 4 children and was always very involved in their education as well. And then something happened. My 3rd child was starting to struggle with reading. After my first 2 really were kind of self-taught readers, I have learned as a parent and as a teacher that all kids develop differently. They are all different. You cannot expect your 1st and 2nd and 3rd child to learn the same way. And I'm telling that to parents all the time. So my 3rd child was really struggling though. We wound up having him evaluated, and it turned out that he was dyslexic. This was something that I did not have experience with at the time. But of course, the teacher in me was very interested in it. So I did some research and read all about Orton Gillingham. So we wound up hiring an Orton Gillingham tutor to work with my son. And I was able to see firsthand how great an impact this had on him and his confidence and his abilities so quickly that I needed to do this myself. And this would be the most natural extension of my career, of my, of my teaching career. But also I get to, check that bucket list item off and teach kids how to read. I finally have come full circle. I was able to do that. So I went and I got trained in Norton Gillingham, and I studied with the best of the best, and really learned so much through that program, and met great people, and was able to start working with my son, and started to put myself out into the community and work with students, in my surrounding communities and a little bit outside of it, and really just enjoyed working with the students face to face, and meeting with the parents and getting their feedback, and really sharing with them the joy, right? The and the relief to be able to know that their children were in good hands, and they were finally able to read and to have some self-confidence, and to be able to be their best at school and in all of their subjects. But something else happened. I also started listening to people around the community talking about the fact that the schools around me, but also just around the country, who really haven't caught on yet to, they're starting to, thankfully, but to teaching to all of the students in the classroom, right? Not just to the students who are able to run with being able to memorize, being able to look at pictures and context clues and learn how to read in that way, because there are a third of students who can't, right? And then of course there's the other, 1 in 5 students who are dyslexic and have learning disabilities and really need a one-on-one intervention. But there are so many students that don't really need the intervention, but they need the right tools, and they're not getting them in the school. So I decided at that time to, well, you know what, until the schools are able to get up to speed and teach the kids, to all of the kids in the classroom, not just to the ones who are going to be able to run with, whatever methodologies they're using, balanced literacy, to invite some students to be able to learn with structured literacy with me, where I can explicitly teach them how to decode words and how to spell words, and ultimately give them the confidence to be able to have the fluency to be able to read at the right rates without having to guess at words, and to be more confident and be able to read at a speed that you're speaking at, to ultimately be able to comprehend, which is really what the goal is, right? To be able to comprehend what you're reading, so you can read to understand, and you can read to learn, and you can follow directions, and you can read word problems in math, and to be able to be successful in all of your classes. And this is what I decided to do. So that's when the Missing Link was born, where I teach second graders to be able to get to that fluency level by introducing them explicitly to vowel teams and to syllable types, which they definitely are not teaching at schools at this point, and to look at all those little tricky little spelling rules that are never really actually taught in school. So they're able to, get to that point where they're reading and writing with fluency and accuracy, and able to succeed once they get to third grade. I also introduced a feeder class into that one for students who don't really have the prerequisites yet for the Missing Link. They still need some extra help with their short vowel sounds, with their long vowel silent E sounds, with blending consonants. So that's more geared towards a first grade level, or to second graders who need a little bit of catching up with that. So that's what I put together so far, and we're going to be introducing a phonemic awareness class even for pre-K and kindergarten students, to really give them the foundation that they need, that I think a lot of students are missing out on before they get to kindergarten. So anyway, I'm going on and on about about the literacy tree and all of the programs, which wasn't really what I was intending, but I'm excited about it. I'm excited to be here. I loved the journey that I've been on to get here. I'm proud of it, and I'm really excited for what will be coming next for Literacy Tree. So I hope that was entertaining for you to hear a little bit about me. And I'm looking forward to hearing about lots of you in the future too.